and I heard you're on the road still.
Oh yeah.
Where are you at right now?
I'm somewhere in Mississippi, a small town called, I don't know, Bahalia or something.
Okay, sounds good. I'm driving around here, southern China, Guangdong here at night. Just saw a freshly slain goat and a guy making out with his girlfriend. Things are pretty vibey, things are pretty nice. It's pretty warm out today actually, but I guess today we're going to talk about something that has been kind of springing up in the comments section quite a bit, especially in our ADVChina videos, and I'd like you to introduce the topic.
Yeah, sure. Well, basically, what we're going to talk about today is how no matter how rational or, neutral or unbiased you are, Chinese people will always misunderstand you. If they think even for a second that you might be saying something negative about China, they will misunderstand you. And once again, it harkens back to that whole glass heart topic that we were talking about, basically.
Right. This is more of like the knee-jerk response to some of the things that we want to talk about, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to start out by talking about first a video I did a while ago about scams in Beijing, right? And the reason I want to talk about this is almost on a daily basis I get a bunch of comments from Chinese people who are basically, the first thing they say is, well, other countries have scams too. Have you ever been to Eastern Europe, or this country does more scams, or your country has more scams? They do this kind of whataboutism crap, right? And the second thing they do is like, all you want to do is be negative about China, get the hell out of China, that usual kind of nonsense. However, what they don't seem to realize is the whole reason for that video is I want people to love China. And if you go to visit China, and the first thing that happens to you when you get out of the plane and you're a tourist and you go to like Tiananmen Square or something and you get ripped off or scammed, you're going to hate China, right? Because of those scumbags.
Right, of course.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to educate people so that they can avoid those scumbags and enjoy China and love China and have a fantastic time, and see it for what it really is, which is not a place full of scumbag scammers. You know what I mean?
Right. It's almost like you're doing a service to people so that they have a fair or a positive impression of China.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to give people a better impression of China by teaching them how to avoid the pitfalls, but yet Chinese people are constantly abusing me on that video, and it gets on my nerves. But there's plenty of other examples, especially since I've been here in the US doing these sort of videos as I go along. But I'm going to hand over to you. I'd like you to give an example now.
Sure. I mean, actually, just fairly recently, I've had some of the best examples, especially for this topic, of not just glass-heartism, but this kind of knee-jerk response to people looking at the title of a video or kind of insinuating that it has some horribly negative, view on China, rather than actually just sitting through and understanding everything I said. So one of my videos is actually talking about how it's very difficult for foreigners to get a naturalized citizenship here in China. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with what I said. It was 100% accurate. But what happened was the comment section blew up with completely unrelated things, saying like, well, there's a lot of racism in America. Well, if you're you don't like China so much, and maybe you should just leave. Or, oh, China has a lot of people, so they don't need trash like you. It has nothing to do with what I was talking about. That and the video I did with my daughter about her, us choosing American citizenship over Chinese citizenship. The point of that video was to educate people that there is no dual citizenship here, so you have to make a choice, and our choice was this for this reason. And then again, the comment section just completely exploded. Oh, your daughter is Chinese, so why did you make her American? What is not good enough for you? Blah blah. It's just this huge backlash. And it really, like every video I do, whether it's like why I regret buying property in China because of the building quality, it turns into some like, well, you're just a piece of shit, and you're not good enough to live in China, and Chinese people, they don't like scumbag foreigners like you that make negative videos about China and stuff. Whereas I'm just trying to talk about a topic and educate people on, through my experience, which I find, me and you have some pretty valuable experiences being one of the few foreigners foreigners that have stayed here for so long and, you know, dedicated our lives to this country. So it's kind of ridiculous, and it's kind of not a criticism of the people watching our videos, but for me it's almost like a cultural phenomenon that if any negativity comes out about their nation, and even if the video or the topic is completely unrelated, if you are a foreigner talking about it, then you are going to get your head cut off, basically. That's just how it is.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got a good example, but first, you know, I've often had these kind of conversations with my wife, and I think I mentioned it before, where, you know, Chinese people have a thing that, something along the lines of, if they've got bad parents, they can say bad things about their parents, but if somebody else says anything bad about their parents, then they get pissed off, you know, that kind of thing. So that kind of vibe. But dude, you know, one of my most recent videos, which is Jack of all trades, China has none, right? That's the title. Now, anybody who knows English knows that that is a phrase, or like a phrase in English. You say Jack of all trades, master of none, right? So it's a play on words. Just a play on words. I have gotten so much crap and so much racist hatred thrown towards me because of the title of that video. Because in the video, I not once say anything negative about China. I'm basically just explaining that Chinese people are more specialized. They're very capable at doing, you know, specific tasks or professions, but they, you know, you don't find many jack of all trades, which is just factual. It's the truth, right? There's not a single bit of untruth in that video. And I didn't once say anything bad about China either, because, like I said, it's just pointing out the differences. However, I've gotten so many people, you can just go to look in the comments section. I'm going to pop up a few comments here. Just vitriol, absolute disgusting hate, specifically from Chinese people who see the title. And the title it's a joke title. It's not even offensive. To say that China doesn't have any jack of all trades, I mean, is that offensive? Is that bad? It's like saying, no, Sweden doesn't have plumbers, you know, something like that. Is it offensive? I mean, come on. But that's the kind of thing that we're talking about, exactly like what you said. They'll see a title, and before even trying to watch the video or understanding what it is, they jump to conclusions and start being incredibly racist and incredibly hateful. And you know, it's kind of something that we've been dealing with a lot. So I'm gonna go back to you. I want you to tell me about some real life situations where, like, we've had misunderstandings. So you go first.
I mean, it's happened quite a few times, and it's mostly because I have most of my Chinese conversations that I have with people are with my parents-in-law, and then around their family friends as well. I've been in a few situations, actually fairly recently, where I've been at dinner with some of my family friends, and what happens is the conversation will eventually turn towards me, and they'll say, oh, so you're from America, oh, I know someone that lives there, blah, 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 blah. But then they always got to pry into some sort of political thing, right? So the other day, there was this family from the north, and the father said, the father at the table, he said, so who did you vote for? And I said, well, you know, I don't really have any political affiliation. I've been in China so long. And I made the old joke, you know, that all the Chinese people chuckle at, is that I've been in China so long, I'm half Chinese now, you know. They always love to hear that. And, you know, everyone had a good laugh and stuff, but it eventually turned into something pretty nasty. And they're like, well, you know, he's opening up a trade war with China. How do you feel about your country being, like, involved in trying to make China look bad? And why did you decide to stay in China? And blah, blah. I'm sitting here with my family. This is supposed to be family, friends and stuff, and now they're asking all these prying questions and stuff just because I made a little kind of like a little bit of a joke there, you know what I mean? And that was with people we know, like I said. The other day, and this is my last example, I was in, it was kind of like an open conference where people go and make speeches, right? I sit down at this table, and this girl sits down. She's probably in her 30s. Not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be for university age, you know, age-appropriate students that show up. And she sits down at my table, and she goes, how do you feel about, since I heard you have a Chinese daughter, how do you feel about Chinese people not being able to be dual citizens? And she brought up the topic almost like, it was almost creepy. I almost thought she might have seen my video. And I said, actually, to be honest with you, if you're really asking me, and we're going to talk about this at the table, if this is our topic, then I'm going to say I think it's a stupid law, and I think that anyone should be able to claim any nationality they'd like to if they go through the processes of needing to be naturalized. And she goes, "Oh yeah? Well, I think it's awesome, and I think everyone at this table should agree with me because I think that it's good because it keeps American and foreign spies out of our China. Maybe you're a spy." And she wasn't even joking. She was like dead ass serious. And she just like completely like warped my conversation to that direction. And I'm seeing more and more of that recently. And of course, there's a hotbed. It's like a kind of like a cesspool for this kind of talk in the comment section on YouTube, obviously. But it's happening in real life as well. Have you noticed anything in real life as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, look, not only from a negative point of view, Chinese people tend to have a very limited view of what the Western world is all about. I mean, they very often, they very often say to me, "Happy Thanksgiving Day," and I'm South African. I keep telling them that the Thanksgiving is an American-only holiday, and Canada's got some kind of discount version, but that's it. Like, it's nowhere else in the world is it celebrated. Things like that, which are quite ridiculous.
Right.
Because you're a foreigner, they expect that you're going to fit certain molds and certain norms. So yeah, on some funny points as well.
Be super good at basketball.
Yeah, and just silly things like, "Oh, you have free healthcare in your country," and like, no, I don't. South Africa doesn't have free healthcare.
Anyway, this is not supposed to be a bitch fest, of course, as always, but very interesting. Winston and I were talking about this the other day on the internet. We decided we'd cover this topic. We thought it was pretty relevant because I'd say more recently than not, this is kind of becoming a thing.
Yes, it is. Look, that's the thing you have to realize when you go to China is that if you say anything, basically what we're trying to get to with this video is that you will be misunderstood. If you try to put any kind of political point forward, or if you try to make a stand on anything that's important, you will be misunderstood because Chinese people cannot accept any kind of criticism at all about China.
100% agreed, dude.
So, no matter how how neutral you try to be, and that our videos are a very good litmus test. All you need to do is go look at any video that Seamilk and I do, and if we say anything even slightly negative about China, and yes, lately our videos have seemed quite negative, but that's simply because it's being reinforced by all this hatred and racism towards us, and it's caused this situation where we feel pissed off because what can we do? We try to be nice, we try to be neutral, we try to put a very unbiased opinion out there. But I bet you that if we made a video and we said, "Oh, I don't like this kind of Chinese food because it's too salty," I bet you that we would have hordes of people saying, "Screw you, get the hell out of China, your food is more salty," that kind of thing. It's just as if you literally can't have an opinion.
100%. You don't have to make that bet. I guarantee it. I guarantee you're correct.
I'm gonna just make a video about Chinese food, like Southern Chinese food being too salty or something. Because it is quite literally just, wow, what is this place? Never mind. It's quite literally just having an opinion in China automatically will make you an enemy. And it doesn't have to be political, as we've seen. So, yeah. All right, dude. So, is there anything you want to say? Do you think we need to continue with this topic? Is there anything we've missed out on?
No. I think we pretty much covered it. I think the best thing you can do is actually go just read the comment section once in a while. If it's on Law86, Serpents Today, ADVChina, you will be thoroughly entertained if you want to see real life examples of what we just talked about tonight or this morning for your side. But otherwise, I would say, I'd prefer if our subscribers were very friendly to us, whether they're Chinese or not. And always remember to hit that like button and subscribe as well.
And whether or not you are somebody who misunderstands the point of our videos, because I've got to say it right now, that our videos are not there to bash China. Our videos are literally there to show people what it's like to live in China, what it's like to work in China, what it's like to experience China, because we both love China very much, and that is why we've been living there for so long, and that is why we make the videos in the first place. And by the way, this trip around America has shown me just how much of a positive impact our videos have had on people over here. So you Chinese guys watching this, listen to this carefully. The stuff that C-Milk and I are doing is only doing good things for China. The amount of people that have spoken to me to say that before they watched our videos, they thought China was an absolute shithole. And now they watch our videos and they like China, they're interested in China, they want to visit China, they want to go work there because of what we do. Because we are giving a real life view of what it's like to live in China. We're not trying to dissuade people.
How many people have told us that they have moved here because of our videos and they love their life?
Yeah, absolutely. So many people, everybody I talk to in Shenzhen who bumps into me, they're like, dude, I wouldn't have come here if it wasn't for your videos, or I got a job and I wasn't sure, then I watched your videos and that's what made me decide to move. So all you butthurt Chinese people in the comments being racist and terrible towards myself and towards C-Milk, all you're doing is basically shooting yourself in the foot, making yourself look like an absolute arse, because we're not here to make you look bad, but you are the ones making yourselves look bad, is basically what's happening here. So quit it.
Excellently said. Quit it. Knock it off.
Yeah, knock it off. You're bugging me. All right.
All right, dude. Safe travels, and I guess I will see you pretty soon on the next episode, eh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm in, like I said, I'm in Mississippi. Apparently, there's a big water tower there that says "Home of the Indians," so wherever that is. I thought, well, anyway.
Cool. Sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video, because, guys, we're going to do a couple more of these weird kind of international ones, and C-Milk's going to come join me here in America for Christmas, and then we'll be back in China after Christmas and continuing with the usual stuff. But whether or not you're a butthurt Chinese glass-hearted commenter or a very reasonable, rational, lovely Chinese person, because there are rational Chinese people. I've had some pretty good comments from them, and you guys are the good guys. You're the guys who are selling your country well. You know the drill. As always, whatever you're doing, wherever you are,
stay awesome and buy me a taco.
Okay, dude.
Thank you, brother.
Alrighty, fist bump.
Thanks, man.
Sweet. Cheers, huh?
When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind